Georgia. He's in his last, well, he'll graduate in November because they go through quarters, and he'll have his degree in film. I'm an Army veteran, 27 years, 27 and a half years. I've been all around the world. I initially started as an urban gardener. You know, everybody has their story. My story is I started during the pandemic, and I remember it like it was yesterday. It was Earth Day, and for some reason, you know, we were at home, we weren't at work. My son was in at school, and I said, "Hey, we're gonna go out and we're gonna do some yard work." And I initially took my shoes off and I touched the ground, and I swear that all my worries went away. Um, if you see my model, it's healing in the soil, because there's definitely healing in the soil. Um, I started off with just four by four boxes. That's what I started off with. That was year one, and just to see things grow from seed to actually producing, and I was able to give to my community, to my friends, all this food. It just brought something out of me. That was year one. So I'm like in year five of gardening. Well, now a farmer, but this is my fifth full year, so 5 years of experience. My second year, I kind of added container gardening to it as well. So living in suburbs of DC, I just didn't have enough room. So I decided to move down south after I retired. My family is already not originally from South Carolina, but we live in Beaufort. We're from Beaufort. My son was going to Savannah, so I said it's a great time for me to move as well. So I started in Grovetown, and I'm telling you, even though I had a beautiful 1.5 acre plot, and I didn't put pictures of here up here, but if you guys ever want to see pictures, I have some. Cynthia's seen pictures of different my area, but it just wasn't enough, and God was just he kept calling me and calling me, and I kept telling my friends, I said, I have a calling to do something bigger, right? And sometimes with me, I do sometimes have the fear of following what he's saying. And I just said, you know what? I prayed about it and I prayed about it. And this property came up, and it came up in October. And I was like, oh, this is my property. But I kind of sat on it and I was like, whew. And then in January, I was turning 49, and I looked, it was still there. And I said, this is my property, because there's no way that this property is still available. So that's when I started pursuing it. So I actually only stayed in Georgia, Grovetown, for 2 years before I moved here to Aiken. I bought 17 acres. It was, I'm gonna call it semi-raw land, because it did have a well in the back, because the original or the previous owners, they were homesteading, um, but they didn't really have the tools to homestead. So they decided to sell a property. So guys, you have any questions about this slide and what I've done so far? Okay.
Yeah, could you explain just real quick, the homesteading, what that's about, just briefly, and how
So
you were able, yeah, just that connection.
I was able to find a property.
No, I'm just, so they were, what were they doing on the land? How were they homesteading, and why were they
So
not able to accomplish the task that they had started? Did they share that
yeah.
with you? Just wondering.
So I'll tell you this. They had this property, and they actually had another property, 2 acre, two homes down, which was only an acre. So I know that he was trying to do a lot of things by hand, right? Um, they didn't have irrigation. Um, it was just him and his wife, even though it's just me. But I think it may have been just a lack of equipment and a lack of experience. Because this, like, home styling is what everybody wants to do now. You know, that's the new thing, homesteading. But you have to really you have to be dedicated to it, to homesteading. I always call myself a modern homesteader, right? Because I want to grow, I want to can, I want to eat what I grow, I want to give back to my community, but I do also want to live good. So that's why I call myself a modern homesteader.
Thank you.
Okay. So just to talk about right now, I'm kind of going into my business plan, and this was something I put down on paper probably as soon as I purchased the land. You know, that this vision was as clear as day to me. I'm not gonna say I've done it everything in order, but this vision was so clear. So what I initially did when I came to the property is I built a home. So raw land in April. They started building the home April the 15th. Um, Within the next 2 to 3 months, I started clearing areas. So I started clearing or finished clearing the animal enclosure. You'll see pictures of that coming down. I cleared the vegetable area, so the actual growing space. I cleared like 3.5 acres. You ladies already saw those 3.5 acres when it was like really raw. And I just recently cleared the fruit orchard. And right before this meeting, I actually planted 5 of the 60 fruit trees that I have. So that's a work in progress as well. So I'm kind of working on my market research. I'm in different classes right now, and I'll talk about the classes I'm in to kind of work on that market research. I did my conservation plan. I did that conservation plan the day I got my paperwork. I went to FSA. I got my farm number. I went over to NRCS and I made an appointment for them to come to survey the land and you know tell them what my vision was. Um, I did fencing. I fenced the whole 3.5 acres up. I fenced the acre of the animal structure, and the orchard is not fenced. I fenced in my backyard of my home, and then I fenced off my actual farm area from the road, and that just recently happened. So I procured storage and shelter for my animals. So right now I have 18 chickens. So in the 18 chickens, I'll show you later on in the slides, I'll show you the coop I did for the chicken. I also built a goat shed that was finished maybe a month and a half ago. Um, so I'm about to acquire goats, so that'll happen soon. My goal was to put plants in the ground in April, and I did that. So the method that I'm growing in currently is raised beds, containers, and in ground. So my containers and my raised beds are completely planted. In ground, I'm halfway done with my in ground planting. I'm working on, I have several grow areas in ground. Um, Total, I think I say like I have 5 grow areas, and I'm growing different things. And like my grow area 1 raised beds, that'd probably be for my family, so they can come and get some. Grow area 2, some in ground, that'll be for the community, because I believe that this first year of me growing, a lot of it is still for me considered practice. I believe in practicing before I actually go out and do something. That's why I've been doing this for 5 years. So just trying to get better. Attend beekeeping course. I did that. Um, Prior to coming here, I finished Georgia Master Gardener, so that's why I don't have this on the year 1 of my plan. Um, Introduced chickens to the farm. I did that. I brought my 6 chickens from Georgia, and I purchased 12 more. So um, also attain certifications, different certifications, and I'm in the process of doing that. So that's basically my year one plan. I'm my anniversary of owning this land was April the 3rd, so I'm super excited about that. I'm super excited about all the things I've accomplished the first year at my farm. Any questions? So year 2 to 3 will be this month into April of 2027. So I talk about securing necessary startup finance, and that's just to get some of my other things that I need. Apply for grants for cross fencing and high tunnels. I've done that. So I actually did that in year one, and I will do it every year until I get some funding. However, I'll say this about myself. I'm not going to wait forever to get assistance. If I get to a point that it's time for me to move to that next phase, I'm going to move to that next phase. I'll do what I need to do to get to that next phase. Um, purchase some farm equipment. I've done that. I'll show that a little later on. I haven't acquired any cold storage yet. Um, establish presence at a local farm market. I That's my plan for this year into next year to kind of establish my way there initially, and then establish a roadside farmers market. The last thing on my list was incorporate farm animals. That's additional farm animals. So of course, this year, because this is year two, I'm getting the goats and the bees, and the rabbits will probably be year three. And the rabbits will be for manure and for possibly selling that manure in at the farm stands. Any
Excuse
questions?
me. Yeah, Leslie Class had a question, or her hand was up. Leslie, do you still have a question? You can unmute at this time.
Oh, I wasn't. I didn't. I was just clapping because I
Oh,
love
that
it.
was a clap.
I was, yeah,
Thank
sorry.
you.
No problem. Okay, thank you. All right, TK. This is going really great. So much information. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you. So this is year 4 to 7. Um, Within year 4 to 7, I'm going to continue to improve my farming procedures. I'm going to apply for permits and certificates for the farmers market, secure funding for the construction of the farmers market, and then open the market. What I didn't talk about within this 4 to 7 years that I'll be working, but I'm not sure how far I get with it. My goal, my big vision is always to help people. And being a army veteran, that suffers from like anxiety and some of those different disabilities from being in the military, my goal is to have a safe place, and it'll be a safe place for women to come. I want to get like 4 tiny homes on a property, or all depends on how Aiken County consider it, because they have some rules. So I have to figure out all the rules about the actual property getting homes, but get those there, and bring people and just have them walk with their shoes off, and get to know the land, and get to be in a safe place to be able to talk to one another, other women that have been through other things that they could possibly learn from, but just a community, really. So that's another big part of the healing in the soil for me. So this is the fun part, right? So the growth, right? I talked it. Now I'm going to let you see it a little bit. So these are pictures of me actually clearing the growth spaces, and actually, getting there and burning the trees down, and, not burning them down, but, burning them. um, some of the trees we actually did biochar off, which is, you know, really good. And I'm going to actually use that biochar and grow area 3 this year, just to see how, if if my if the produce and grow area 3 grows better than the rest. That I only use probably cow manure or chicken manure as fertilizer. So that was the clearing process. This is me with my chickens, bringing the chickens. So the coop in the middle is the coop I brought from Georgia to here, and then the green coop is the coop I actually bought here in Aiken and had this big huge run uh, completed for my chickens. So like I said, I have currently 18. I will probably try to get up to about 36 because another goal is I plan to sell eggs as well. So that's where I am now. Right now, I'll just give all the eggs away, but for practice. So that's what I do right now. Um, so this is my goat barn. It is 24 by 12. It has three eight it's 8-foot stalls, and the fourth room is going to be a sterile room. So that's where I will milk my goats um, in a sterile area. So that's what that fourth room is for. So this is the orchard I just finished clearing. So like I said, it's like 60. So it's gonna be 60 trees, and I'm gonna have like fruit bushes. I have raspberry, blackberry. I'm gonna have strawberries in the area. I'm gonna have elderberry, and blueberry. So it's I call it a fruit orchard slash food forest because it's gonna have a bunch of fruits but it's not gonna be one of those beautiful straight line type orchards. So it's gonna be really like I want to be able to walk from place to place and just pick up a fruit and eat it, pick up a berry and eat it. So that's my goal for that area. And these are some of my equipment. I apologize that this is a little blurry, but so far I've bought a tractor and I bought a no-turn lawnmower. I've also bought a bigger, like a 22-inch hand a gas tiller, and I had an electric tiller before. So those are some of the major equipment I have already acquired for the farm. So some of the resources and classes and certificates. So like I told you before, I'm a Georgia Master Gardener. Um, I took that class in 2024. I took the Aiken County Beekeeping course at the beginning of 2025. I am currently in the South Carolina New and Beginner Farmers Program that's given by Clemson Extension. I'm also an alternate for the Frontline to Farm training. That's a week-long course that's in North Carolina, and it's given by Farmers Veteran Coalition. It happens in June at Appalachian State. So fingers crossed for me, guys, that I get in. And I've already applied for programs with FSA and NRCS. I need to change that over. So I did the CSP, the equip, the cross fencing, the irrigation, high tunnel, uh, uh, grazing area. So anything that you could apply for, I have. So I'm just waiting to hear back. I know they've already awarded some, but I'm not sure what's gonna go on. And it may be because I am a new and beginning farmer that I haven't received anything, but we'll see what happens this year into next year. So these are all of my social media. So I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I have a YouTube page and a Gmail. So my YouTube page, I do make videos maybe twice a year. I'm sorry, twice a month, but not too often. If you see my Facebook and my Gmail are different names. It was Bella Femme Soil Healing because that was my initial name. Beautiful female and soil together. That's what that was. However, I changed the name to M Square, and M Square is my mother, whose name Mary, and my grandmother, whose name is Myrtle, and that's our legacy. So that's my lineage, and I wanted to make sure that they were represented in everything I did. So, any questions? Sorry, I didn't have a whole hour long, but you're on mute. You're still muted.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you. Just wow. What an incredible session full of information. And I was taking notes. I put a few things in the chat. What you said
Oh,
in terms of your tagline, healing in the soil, a modern
mhm.
homesteader. I think that should stay with you. The tools, because you're like, yeah, the person before me didn't really have the tools. You got to have the tools to get out here to do what it is that you need to do. And I thought
Yes.
that was so impression and so wonderful. I'm going to just ask the group. I don't want to, to take everything over. Is there anyone who would like to unmic and ask a question or maybe a statement, or is in the process of doing the same thing or similar background? Or
Yeah. Or just need me to come out and look and talk, just like you ladies came out and looked and talked to me. I mean, I am available.
I, I'll I'll offer that I love your story. I thought it was amazing. I love the part about how you started and explaining how you walked in the ground and the soil and you just had that feeling because that resonated with me in particular because I woke up one day and said the same thing. I don't know where
Yeah.
it came from. I'm gonna buy a farm. So I
Mhm.
love all of the information, and I am right now working on another project, but I am working on my farm project in the background. And so I want to thank you for sharing because you gave some really, really, really helpful direction. And I wish you all the best. I love your story.
Thank you.
thank you, Leslie. And in the chat, Cynthia says, thanks for sharing with us, TK. It's been chock full. I mean, it was really packed with information. I love what you're doing in Aiken County. So we don't always get to see that here. We're not really rural, but you got a really nice piece of property there, and you're not far from the supermarkets or
Yeah.
everything is nearby. So I would love to see that farmer's market, the market on the side of the road that you're hoping to bring to that farm. And
Yes.
and I'd like to talk to you a little bit more about that
Okay.
offline. So if no one else has anything that they'd like to share, I'd just like to say I am Judith Richburg. I am with Growell, Aiken County and the land people. And on behalf of the land people in Growell, Aiken County, we want to thank each and every one of you for showing up today with your curiosity, your questions, your statements, and your commitment to growing something meaningful. Whether you're just planting your first row or you've been tending the land for a few years, we hope today gave you some tools, resources, and most of all, community. And you heard TK, she said, hey, if you want me to come out and look at what you have, I would be more than happy to come out. So just get in touch with us over at Growell, Aiken County, and we'll be more than happy to connect you. So to you, TK, a big thank you again for sharing your wisdom, your story, and your passion. And thank you to all our amazing partners and supporters and everyone working behind the scenes to make this event happen. So stay connected, just a few things, just stay connected with us. And if you're a part of a church or a community group or farming network, take this energy back with you and share what you've learned. Keep the conversation growing. Please reach out to us. We are here for you. You're part of something bigger than your farm or your garden. You're part of a movement rooted in equity, healing, and abundance. Keep planting, keep learning, and keep going. Thank you all, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, guys. Talk to you later.
Thank you. Bye-bye.